Hey, everybody!
Hey!
Hello, welcome to the Three Stuffed Mums Viral Edition. This is episode number 5. Give yourselves big high fives on the screen. Yay!
Yay!
If this is your first time joining us, welcome aboard. My name is Kate, and I am self-isolating at home with children, so I am physically stuffed.
And my name's Maggie. I am working from home, so I'm mentally stuffed.
And I'm Kehau, and I've been stuck at home with my husband all this time, so we're about ready to tell each other to get stuffed.
And we're the Three Stuffed Mums! Woo!
All right, so we've got a big show on the Viral Edition tonight. We have got coming up Isovations, which is all the observations of us in isolation. We've got me doing the Ready to Mumble tonight, and it's going to be all about homeschooling. Because don't we know that word a bit all too well right about now. The next thing we've got on the list is Go Ask Your Mothers. We answer the curly questions that the dads are too scared to tackle. And finally, we will be moving on to Bingeable, which is all the fun things that we have come across over the week and would recommend that you binge on while you're in isolation for this silly, silly COVID business. So, ladies, how are we tonight?
We're good. We're cold. It's cold up here in the hills. Holy my goodness! I'm gonna put my giraffe onesie on later.
Oh yes,
maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a onesie.
We should have a pajama party.
Yeah. I'll wear the unicorn.
Not with Glenn, because he sleeps naked, so that would be cruel.
Alrighty, and hello to everybody watching the show live with us, and also special hello to you if you're watching the replay. It is great to have you on board. So we've got a couple of people popped on straight away. So hello, big special shout out to Karen and Rod and Glenn. They're the ones that I've mentioned so far. And Rod, yay! I think I said Rod twice, didn't I? Anyway, okay, right, ladies. Let's get into Kehau. We need a little bit of music for this segment. Can you give us our music for this segment tonight?
Isovations, because we are queens.
All right, Kehau.
We're queenagers.
All right, Kehau, what have you been seeing this week in Isovations? What's been your isolation observation?
Whatever. We're coming up on Mother's Day, and I think that the moms are going to score a lot of flowers this year, because that is the easiest thing to get to people and to get. Either that, or you get all the kids get together and each donate one roll of toilet paper, one bottle of hand sanitizer, and mom will just be set for the rest of this fiasco. So I think there's going to be a lot of flowers happening this year, which is good. We don't get enough flowers. I think that's good. So if it takes a lockdown to get us more flowers, then I'm all for that.
Excellent. And I love the meme that was on Facebook this week or last week saying Dad's 15-day warning that kids aren't going to be bringing home homemade gifts from school this year, so make sure you get onto your Mother's Day presents early. So nice public service announcement there. And what about you, Maggie? What have you seen this week?
Well, just adding on to what Kehau said, my son, our youngest, David, actually asked me to give him some clues about Mother's Day, and I did remind him that it's not only florists who deliver, Dan Murphy also delivers. So just put it out there. There we go.
I'm surprised he didn't already think of that, knowing his mother.
But the other thing that I realised this week is, the benefit of hindsight. If I'd have known 10 weeks ago that the place to buy shares is in Plexiglas companies, because how quickly did those Plexiglas screens appear? It's like they were all sitting waiting in a warehouse somewhere. It's like, bam, shops, banks, public transport, they're everywhere. Yeah. And you know what? The great thing about Plexiglas is it's not like glass. Plexiglass will get misty when you clean it. It'll get scratched, fuzzy. needs replaced. Oh dear. Continuing business.
Yeah.
We should have known.
I think they already had all that stored up for all those porn places. So they just repurposed them. I don't know. Any porn. Don't they have like screen? I don't know.
Do they even have porn places anymore? Like, I would have thought that was just an internet thing nowadays.
Oh, no, some people like to have more of a hands-on experience. Hey! No, but you know what I mean.
Plexiglas, though.
Yeah, well, they're cleanable.
And that's an interesting point you make, though, Maggie, about the plexiglass, because I was just like, where did this all come from? Like, was there a salesperson going around shop to shop going, hey, do you want some of this? And then they go, no, and you go, okay, are you sure? And they're like, yep,
yeah. Sneeze guards. They took all the buffets that are closed and they move all the sneeze guards right into all the you know, they're already there. They're already there. Yeah. So they just like move them from the buffets.
But it gives you the full bank experience wherever you go now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I can have crazy. At the bakery, can I have a pasty? Yep, sure. And then it's like put it through the hole, and you're just like, what is this?
I remember when, like, I don't know what it was like here, but we used to go to the petrol station for groceries, you know, late at night. This was in Scotland. They haven't done it here. But, you know, everything goes through the slide thing, goes in the ditch, and then you push the slidey thing and you get your goods, which is fine until you want a huge jug of milk. That's not going to go in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that wouldn't work at Costco. Jesus Christmas, you have to have like this giant
toilet paper.
Just like giant opening. They're like like going to Disneyland, you know, just go through the little.
It'd be like the dog doors for like giant dogs. It's like, why have you got a dog door? You might as well just leave the front door wide open. Like,
that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
We do.
Yeah, but Kehau, you're in the country. You're allowed to do that sort of stuff in the country.
Yeah. Of course, we do, because nobody cares.
I just have to bring this comment up quickly. Ron Lewis just goes, porn shops, put it through the hole. This is turning into an X-rated edition.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter.
And we haven't even hit the 10-minute mark yet.
We have strange people listen to this program.
Alrighty, so
what time is it?
I think it is time, but I can't say it because I'm doing it tonight.
Let's get ready to mumble! Tonight's mumble is brought to you by Caper.
Yes, so the good thing about this show that I have been really enjoying is the bit about getting ready to mumble, because if mums can't have a bit of a mumble every now and then, well, what can we do? And it's even better when somebody actually listens to us. So with all these people listening live, this is great.
Oh, stop it. You're dreaming.
Because if they have a mumble at home, nobody's going to give a shit. They just keep going on.
The tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it. It was a mother.
If a mum mumbles at home and nobody hears it, does she actually talk? No, anyway, so my mumble tonight is about my new part-time job, or I think it's full-time job. My new full-time job as homeschooling teacher. So school holidays were great. I really enjoyed that 2 weeks off. That was awesome. However, last week school went back and I'm just a bit like, nah, I did not sign up for this. So let me just give you a little bit of a thing about what happened. So my daughter goes to a Steiner school, which means they are very low tech. So that's like the school that Steve Jobs and all the Silicon Valley guys send their kids to, because they know how addictive screens are and they get their kids off the screens. So we don't have Zoom teaching lessons, unfortunately. We get a show bag with 3 weeks worth of schoolwork in it.
Oh, wow. So the shittiest show bag ever.
There was not one chocolate or Bernie Beetle in it. I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, so we pulled out this worksheet, these big, so it was like a proper size, like it was proper size thing with like all the subjects and whatever else. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know that I could even be bothered going to school, let alone teaching. Like, because the amount of work that was in there was quite extraordinary. I was quite impressed. And so I had to then learn also, I learned all about ancient Persia. And fun fact, ancient Persia is actually Iran, which I did not know. We also do spelling lessons. And no,
so who's going to school, Kate? You or your daughter? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, because I had to then facilitate all the learnings. And so I'm teaching her about ancient Persia. And she's wanting me to read the story because she can't read it. And I'm like, I don't know how to say Aruh Mazda or Aramana or whatever. But I don't care. It's like, just whatever. So we did all of that. And then I'm also trying to do some work as well. So that was a fabulous thing. It's like, let's just try and do work and homeschooling all at once. Yep, working really well. And it all came undone when we got to form drawing. Now, if you don't know about form drawings is basically there's like a whole heap of dots on the page, and then the teacher's made a beautiful pattern in amongst them all, and then the kids have to replicate that pattern on the practice page, like the practice dots, and then they have to do it on a big, beautiful page. And I think the concept of it is it's lots of swirls and straight lines and stuff, which mimics writing. So it's meant to, I'm guessing that it's meant to help you with your writing. And that's when the meltdown occurred. And I'm not going to say if it was from me or my daughter, but let's just say that it got to the point where nothing was happening. And I have this bit of a theory that to be happy, not only do you need to laugh, you also need to complete stuff. Because like once you tick those things off your to-do list, you feel good. And we were not ticking anything off of our to-do lists. And what I realized in that moment was that
you're just getting ticked off.
I was getting ticked off, but there was no ticking off the list. And what I realized in that moment was that we are not going to finish things for a long time with this situation. And so where we thought we could get some runs on the board with finishing things is not actually necessarily going to happen. So we need to sort of peg that expectation back a bit and maybe just take some actions. And the only thing we can control pretty much in this whole environment is our emotions. So I have put my creativity to the test here. And if anyone's involved with essential oils at all, these are my new essential oil sprays that I have implemented for homeschooling. So this one is, I'm not sure which one I should do first. Yeah, we'll do this one first. So this one is called, hang on. This one is called Fire Up, right? So it's like, I don't want to do school, and you just squirt this on her and you go, come on, we're going to do schoolwork now.
Why can't you just squirt it on her and just get her a light?
It's a room mist, so you just like you just spray it into the air. You spray it into the air like that. So I don't know. Like, this is very big disclaimer. I don't know if essential oils work, but I know that spraying Fire Up spray into the air makes me feel a lot better. I don't know if there's any medical properties of it, but it makes me feel good because I've got something to do. The next one that I have is this one called Calm Down.
Too much of the first, you need the second.
So if we're getting a little bit stressed about form drawings, I'm just like, spray that on me and I can just calm down. Also helpful to wind down at the end of the day if you haven't had your Dan Murphy's delivery. But I know that it's probably not enough to have Calm Down and Fire Up, because sometimes with all best intentions, something always goes wrong. So I made this spray as well. Hang on. And so this one just gets a spray every now and then. But I must admit, so I was using these quite successfully with my daughter up until the form drawing where she said,
that looks a little empty, that one.
It's about halfway. But this one here, during the form drawing meltdown, there was somebody lying on the floor going, just pour the bottle on me, Mum.
There's none left, darling. I filled the bathtub for me later.
So I would love to give a massive big shout out to our teachers out there who look after our children for 40 weeks of the year. Well bloody done, because it's a very impressive job.
Thank you.
And Lynn, hang on, who was it? Lynn Fuller's just asked ingredients, please. Okay, so Lynn, the fire up spray is just peppermint oil. So I put a couple of drops of peppermint oil in there and then some water. Calm down is just lavender, which is easy. And then this one, that is Young Living Oils Stress Away. So if you're a Young Living Oils person, Stress Away is the way to go. Otherwise, I think there'd be something equivalent in doTERRA if you're a doTERRA, whatever. Because apparently I don't get much into the essential oils, but apparently there is a big showdown between doTERRA and Young Living. And
they're supposed to calm down. These two groups are making people calm down. They're killing each other for the calm down market. That's crazy. That's funny.
Calmly?
That's funny.
yeah. But apparently, like, one's meant to be like hold and one's meant to be like forward. But the problem is, we don't know which one because Holden's not obviously in Australia anymore. So one's obviously better than the other. We just don't know which one. So let's start a bit of a oils war while we're here.
I got invited to one of those essential oil party things. You know, remember a couple years ago that was the rage. You go to somebody's house. It was like the new Avon, right? And they had all these I forget who I was with, but we laughed our asses off so much. We got kicked out. We just thought it was hysterical, and they didn't appreciate that, and they kicked us out. Which made us really laugh. Which we laughed all the way out the door because we thought that was hysterical. It's just, I'm not one to be invited to. Yeah.
The host needed that with spray all over your Kehau. Just like,
I know, it was too funny. It was too airy-fairy for me. I just couldn't help myself. It was terrible.
All right, so there we go. So that's my mumble for tonight. Thank you very much for indulging me for that, which leads perfectly on to our question of the night. So we have the Go Ask Your Mother's segment, and tonight our question is, how much do you or should you help your child with homework? So I'm very interested to hear your opinions on this, lady. Let's hear what you say.
Well, I remember before I had my son and my sister. I was with my sister, and her son was about 12 at the time, 10 maybe 12, and she was saying, oh my God, you have to stay up all night because he's got this project. And I'm like, why are you staying up all night for the project? I'm like, why are you sticking out? Why are you staying all night for the project? And she goes, well, you do that too when you have your own children. And I'm like, no, I won't. And she goes, yes, you will. You know, I'm like, no. And I don't think you should. I'm very much against that. I'm for like guiding them in the beginning, talking about whatever they're going to do and helping them plan it out. But then, you know what? You are on your own, kiddo. You live and die by your own effort. And that's it, you know. And if you fail, if you get a bad mark or whatever, then you got to bite that because you screwed it up. I was there to help you ask the right questions in the beginning. Do you have all your materials? What are you going to do? How about that for a suggestion? And that's it. Then I just provide the premise. You hit the punchline on your own, and that's all there is to it. And my sister, you'll change when you're a parent. I'm like, nope, and I didn't. And I think it gives kids a chance to be responsible, you know, and might as well they learn that in a small way. Nobody's going to die if they don't do their homework. They'll be embarrassed. They'll be, you know, like get scolding or they'll get a bad mark. You know what? You can live through that, but you're not going to live through an adult that doesn't have any kind of responsibility. So I say, be mean now. Save yourself a trip to the police station later.
Learn the hard way.
That's right.
And Maggie, have you got any thoughts on this one? How much do you or should you help your child with homework?
Well, I think in my experience, both for myself and for when my son was younger, it depends on the stage that the kid's at, because if they're at the, hey, can you help me with my homework, Mum? Which didn't happen very often, I have to say. And it was like, okay, sit down, have a look at it with them, made sure they understood what they could, what they had to do, and then leave them to it.
Yeah.
So that's stage one, and that was fine. But sometimes a bit later on in the night, when they still hadn't, when he still hadn't managed to get it or understand it or get his head around it, that was meltdown time. And that was, right, that's okay. Either I would take it and I would really go, over, help him too much, or I'd make up a story and write a note for the teacher for the next day. So kind of getting on bothered doing that, because I don't believe homework's a good thing anyway. But it made me think as well about when I was little, and so we had arts and crafts at school when I was at primary school in Scotland. The boys got to make papier-mâché things, like blowing up balloons and putting the papier-mâché around them. And the girls had to do knitting and sewing. It was
Right.
rubbish. And I was crap at, I was okay at sewing, but knitting, didn't have the patience for it, couldn't be bothered. We're supposed to be knitting a hat. Now, I had a mum she was a tailoress as a profession, a hand sewer. She used to do all the fine sewing on men's suits. And so my mum taught me to sew, and that was fine, but she was also a fantastic knitter, and she made the most beautiful things. So I went home to her one day, and I had my knitting, and I had to get a certain amount of rows done. And I told her, and she said, okay, you know what it is, it's in, over, through and off, in, over, through and off. And right, but I got to meltdown stage, and my mum took it, and she ripped out my terrible knitting and did the 10 rows or whatever that I was supposed to do. And I took it in, and the teacher said, you didn't do this, Margaret.
Busted.
What? Did your mum do this for you? Yeah. And you know that bitch ripped it out?
That's it. Blame her for teaching you a lesson.
No, just like nobody disses my mum's knitting, no matter what happens, no matter how much I've got against my mum. She's my mum. You do not diss her knitting.
I'll rip it out myself.
Finished. You can stick your stupid wee hat with the tires on it that we're supposed to knit. I would never wear it anyway. I'd look like a flipping baby doll, age 8, wearing this stupid wee hat that we had to knit with the crap knitting. So no, it doesn't touch me at all emotionally.
Oh my gosh. I think the only
Is your mother the one that knitted the hat with the teddy bear balls under it? Is that the one?
Oh no, that wasn't it. But my mum had a unique sense of style. Will I tell that story about we used to get a new outfit for the winter every year, and this year my mum found this local shop that sold all these lovely kids' clothes. I think it was 9, and she bought me a pair of fake snakeskin boots, a fake leopard skin coat, and I had this hat. It was all that like teddy bear fur. And it was like this, and then it tied underneath with two tires, and at the end of the tires were 2 huge teddy bear fur pom-poms, so that when I tied it up, I looked like 2 teddy bear testicles just under my chin, and I looked like a big game hunter. Nobody tried to bully me, so maybe they thought that's what happened.
Scottish platypus. That's what you were. Just pieces of different animals all put together.
Yeah, right. There's a bit of everything.
Just wrap up this Go Ask Your Mother segment. I think the only thing that I would like to add to that is how much do you or should you help your child with homework depends on if it's a project where all the parents are going to come in and see it. So if there's a class presentation and all the parents come in to see it, a little bit more than you would normally.
Right. It's all about you.
It's one thing like leaving your kids to hang out to dry in front of their classmates and the teacher, but it's a whole nother thing when you're hung out to dry in front of the classmates' parents.
Right. And also, help your child with something you know how to do. I had Kehau do his math homework one time, and he came back from school that day and he said, "Mom, you are never to help me again. I got it all wrong." "Oh, sorry, math is not my thing." All right, I'll just let you go.
Well, that's like when I was trying to teach Lily how to spell, and she's like, "Mum, how do you spell knee?" And I'm like, Knee, and she's like, "No, how do you spell knee like on your knee?"
Oh, that's the beauty of the language, child. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I tell you, spelling makes you sound like an idiot. Alrighty, okay. Rightio, so let's get on to our final segment for this evening. We are going into. Have we got a theme song for this one? I don't think we do.
No.
Yeah.
So what are our binge? Oh, hang on, I'm trying to get my comments here. What are our
It's so bingeable. That's what it is. It's so bingeable. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Bingeable. I got something for Bingeable tonight. I have recommendations for some really great 80s comedy films that I love personally, and they create a lot of laughter when I'm rewatching it. I've seen these three particular films like a bazillion times because the top two are like my favorites. And the first one is Young Frankenstein. And if you've never seen Young Frankenstein, not the stage play and the musical, but the original black and white Mel Brooks, Gene, what's his name?
Wilder.
Madeline Kahn, bless her. They were just. This is one of the more. It is such a good film that it so closely follows the original that as a parody, it is like second to none, and it has probably the most quotable pieces of dialogue ever. Elizabeth, here tonight, I suggest you put on a tie. All the stuff that you just laugh at later on just by quoting. My son and I watched that so often. I had to get a new copy because we just worn it through. It was ridiculous. So that'd be the first one. Probably the most classic Mel Brooks film is my comedy god, Mel Brooks. So quite bingeable for me. I've seen it like literally probably 100 times. The second film I would like to recommend is another 80s film. It's The Blues Brothers. And if you haven't seen The Blues Brothers, that is another just offbeat, crazy, we're on a mission from God. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and all of the blues people that you can imagine. Ray Charles is in it, Aretha Franklin is in it, James Brown is in it. All these great little pieces of, music and the best musicians. They were the top R&B musicians in the country, and they still are, some of them. They came out of the Stax record stable, and they backed up, not only had the Blues Brothers band, but they played for Aretha Franklin, they played for Booker T and the MGs, they played for a lot of the great bands. So really accomplished musicians. So that movie has a ton of fabulous music in it. Will get you, happy. And a little surprise cameo at the end by Steven Spielberg. Who knew? So,
really?
Yeah. So that's great. The last one I would recommend is just the cheesiest, most weirdest film, but just hilarious in its own right. It is a fantasy kung fu comedy, which already is nuts. But it's Kurt Russell and the wonderful James Hong, who, if you don't know him, he's probably, he's 91 now and he's still really active. If you've seen Kung Fu Panda, he plays Poe's stepfather, the goose. That's his voice in there. And in this, he's Kurt Russell is the protagonist, and he's a truck driver who has no clue what's going on. His good friend, they go to Chinatown, and this fantasy figure, the evil guy, is trying to find a girl with green eyes to help him get back to being flesh and blood again. And the whole movie is just ridiculous, and it's so funny. So if you want just a stupid, cheesy, funny thing with Kung Fu and just nuttiness, and Kurt Russell, who, by the way, during the whole movie has no idea what's going on. Half the time he's going, really, what is that? That's the whole movie for him. So it's a fun movie, and if you're looking for something just to kick back and be stupid while you're home and binging on that, I would highly suggest getting some of those old comedies out and make yourself laugh. It'll be fun. So anyway, those are my bingeables. Huh? It's Big Trouble. The last one is called Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, is that what that movie's about? I've heard of that one. I reckon I saw that in Blockbuster back in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, it's hysterical. It was made in 86. That was made in 86.
86. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we get hold of these, Kehau? Is this a
you should be able to
shop and find one, or?
Well, not even. You can probably get them almost anywhere they've got DVDs will probably have at least Young Frankenstein, I would think. Big Trouble in Little China, you can download it. And I think there's a minor cost for it. But if you want to just check it out, there's a lot of free trailers on YouTube that you can check out how weird they are. Blues Brothers, I think you should be able to get them because they're so popular. So anywhere you should be able to get those. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So what have we got? Young Frankenstein, Big Trouble
Big Trouble in Little China, and the Blues Brothers.
And the Blues Brothers. They are Kehau's top 3 picks for Bingeables this week. And Maggie, have you got one quickie that you want to share with us tonight?
Just one very quick one. If you're stuck at home and you need to get your steps up and have a bit of laugh as well, check out YouTube, and it's Mr. Motivator's Daily Dozen. So if anybody was in Britain back in the 80s, they'll know who Mr. Motivator was. He made fitness fun, and he doesn't ask you to do anything that, you don't work up a sweat, but you'll have a laugh and you'll get moving. So YouTube, Mr. Motivator, and he's there with his wife. They're both in their late 60s, and they're doing their fitness in the kitchen.
That sounds like something for me. I'd love it. Rod Lewis, so stupid, cheesy nuttiness. Isn't that the 3 stuffed mums?
Hey, Rod.
Hey, you're supposed to be our friend.
Well,
I know the truth hurts.
I had to give a special mention to Andrew too. I think he was the one who encouraged Glyn to pop in tonight. But Andrew, why did the schoolboy eat his homework? Because the teachers said it's a piece of cake.
Oh, that is. I often think that there should be like a groan button. Like on Facebook, instead of the smiley face and the thing and the whatever, there should be like there should be one of those. That was that's a dad joke. Okay.
And I just wanted to.
Sorry.
We might have to have a segment that we can bring that into, Maggie. That's great.
Yeah, that and the fart gun.
And just if you want that and the fart gun. If you are watching the replay or you're watching us live, just in the comments down near the bottom, Rod Lewis has put in the YouTube link for Motivator. So thank you.
Swift.
Good on you, Rod.
Thank you, Rod. So just keep an eye on that if you're trying to find that. That's where that is. And I think we're almost at the end of the show. What are we going to be talking about on Thursday, ladies?
Good question.
Very special day in the
Thursday.
Thursday we've got the usuals. Yeah, we got the usuals, but Isovations and all.
We're getting closer to Mother's Day, so we're going to be having a bit of a dedicated edition on Thursday. I'm coming up to Mother's Day, and I am going to be doing the Mumble. And I'll be talking about teleconferencing because my eyes are now square from the amount of online meetings that I've had to do working from home. So get ready for that.
Nice. So it's going to be like double mums edition, that one. So we're going to be the 3 stuff mums talking about Mother's Day. So it's going to be a good one. And and don't miss the Maggie's Mumble about teleconferencing, because if anybody's working from home, I think we're going to enjoy that one.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words, ladies? Kehau, have you got anything else you'd like to finish up?
Nope.
Who would have thought?
I'm all talked out.
And just quickly, Rod said that the Blues Brothers also available on Netflix.
Well, you are
so
just
you
a
don't have to
font of
sign up.
information, aren't you? My goodness.
Rod's like the PA just going, oh, it's
Yeah.
fact
Yeah.
there. He's like, sweet.
No, he's going, these women are idiots. I'll have to put this in for them because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Rod's hooking us up with all the gear. Thank you, Rod. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much it from us, the Three Stuffed Mums for the Viral Edition, episode number 5. If you have enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends and invite them to come and join us live on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Adelaide time for the next edition. And until then, I think we're over and out, aren't we, lady?
We're out.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Mwah.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Mwah.